Welcome back. Today we're going to upgrade our plastic drive shafts on our haiboxing Hailstorm with some metal ones, and that's coming up next here on Just CB Motors. This is going to be a quick, easy, simple little upgrade to do for your haiboxing. And the one thing besides being stronger, these things go back to using the hex nut and threaded on the end with the pin through it like we're used to. Just like we did when we changed the axles out on the protector. These screw into the axles with a screw, and that's kind of oddball. I really like it that these go back to go into that style where you use the nut on the threaded end to keep the wheels on. So let's go ahead and get ready to get started on this. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and take the body off and get that out of the way, because we're not going to need that for this project. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start taking these wheels off. Now that I got the wheels off, I want to show you one cool thing about these Hailstorms. They got full ball bearings. That's a real nice touch. Usually something in this price range has bushings in it, not bearings. Now that we got the wheels off, we're going to go ahead and do the front, and we're just going to spin this around real quick. And then you can see this arm right here. All we're going to do is take this screw out right here, and then that'll flop over and we can pull that axle out. Now we're going to just go ahead and turn it this way. We're going to go ahead and pull down on this, and you can see the axle pop right out of the cup right there. And we're going to go ahead, just grab that hub carrier right there, and we're going to pull that axle on out. We're going to have to pop that bearing off there because it popped out, and pop that back into the bearing carrier. Now here's a quick comparison of the two parts. Here you can see before we had the screw which went through the wheel to the hex nut that slid onto this axle, and this axle was plastic. So now what we're going to do is we got a wheel nut like we're used to, and then we're going to have the wheel. We're going to have the metal instead of a plastic hex nut behind the wheel with the pin like we normally would that would go through the axle, and then we got our metal axle with a stub shaft like we see on most common RC vehicles. Now what we're going to do is bend the bearing carrier up like that just to make it easier. Take our stub shaft here, go ahead and pop that on through the bearing carrier, and then we're going to turn it this way. You can see the white outdrive cup there. We're going to get this all lined up, pop that back in. Then once we got that popped in, we're going to go ahead, get our arm here and get everything lined back up and get the screw back in it. That way it holds everything into place. Next thing we're going to want to do is take our pin and stick it into the hole. I always got to use needle nose pliers because I can't hold on to these little pins that great. Then once we got that on, go ahead and take our new hex nut, get that on there. And then all we got to do is go ahead and get the right wheel here. Go ahead and pop this wheel back on. And then we got our nut here, and we'll thread that on. If you're used to using a wrench like this from your ready to run vehicles, this won't work. It won't fit down in there right. What I had to do was go out and get a 3/16 deep well, and now I can go ahead and tighten this up with no problem. As always, I didn't show you how to do the other side because it's exactly the same, but now we got the fronts done. You can see those axles down in there. Man, those with the shocks that are blue, that looks really great. So let's go ahead, let's move on to the back. Now the backs are really easy. All you have is this screw right here, and we're going to undo that, and then that'll fold over and we can take our axle out. Now we got the screw out, we're just going to go ahead and take that rod, flip it over. We're going to grab the bearing carrier here, bend that down. You can see the stub shaft already popped out. Grab it, pull that out of the outdrive cup there, and there's the old axle. Let's go ahead and install the new one. Now to put it back in, we're going to do just like the front. We're going to stick the stub shaft through the bearing hub carrier here, get that to go in, and it pops right in. And then go ahead and get it lined up with the outdrive cup, slide it in, get that bar back down and lined up, and put the screw back in. Now we got the back ones on, and they look just as good as the front. So let me go ahead and give you my final thoughts on these. Okay, now I'm going to go over the pros and cons of these because I think there is. The pros is they're metal, so they're upgraded for you, so that makes them stronger. The other thing I like is they go to the regular nut in here instead of the screw. But now here's my one con. Because of them going to that nut, you cannot use one of these wrenches to get down in there. You need a 3/16 D-pull. So that kind of makes it a pain to get the nuts on and off when you got to take the wheels on and off. So besides that one con, I think this is a great upgrade. And guess what? This is part of the series for the giveaway of haiboxing Hailstorm, and we need a keyword. And today's keyword for this video is upgrade.